Jim, I know you've talked about this before, but I recently heard Kevin Sullivan on one of his podcasts talking about the night that Wing Kanemura got sliced up by Kevin. And I know you've talked about this, but Kevin said something that I did not know about this situation, and was that Kanemura actually had a surgeon's scalpel. I thought Kevin had just got him with the spike. That's what it looks like on TV.
Well, thank you. That's what it's supposed to look like on TV. No, the dumb fuck did it to himself. See, that's
wow. I mean, it's amazing that it looked that way, because it looks like Kevin gets him with the spike, but he's actually. You're saying Kanemura cut himself with the scalpel before?
That spike was like, I don't know if it wasn't like you could crush it, but it was like balsa wood painted. It wasn't really metal.
Right. Well, and it had like a blunt point to it as well. So
but here's the thing. You know, Kevin has been a booker for years, and especially spent so much time in the Florida office. Knew Victor Quinones, who was a run of Puerto Rico and taking guys back and forth to Japan at that point. Was working with Miguel Perez Jr. and those guys in the Puerto Rico office, and they were going to Japan, and just worldwide wrestling back in those days when you could still do such a thing.
Right.
And Kevin had mentioned, hey, these guys, it was Bill DeMott, Crash the Terminator then, later to become Hugh Morris. Crash was going to be there, Miguel Perez Jr., later of Los Boricuas, Kanemura, and somebody else, and Victor were going to be in the States and was offered to come through and do the Smoky Mountain Television, because then also they'd take the pictures and send them back to Japan. Well, here we are, because in the wrestling papers and magazines over there, Smoky Mountain got a decent amount of coverage in Japan because there were no more American territories except Memphis, the Smoky Mountain, and WWF and WCW. And Memphis didn't use any guys that were really over in Japan, whereas I did on, especially in this case, but Kevin and et cetera, and the Funks. So we got a lot of Japanese press. And Kevin says, hey, Jimmy. I'm trying to do Kevin again. Hey, Jimmy. To get the spike over this Kanemura, he blades his arm. And I said, what? Because I knew the Sheik had bladed the arm in Japan years ago, right? But this was not, it was not only not a common practice to do that, but there was no such thing yet as this hardcore fucking wrestling where guys really got sliced up in various body parts, and et cetera. So I said, God damn it, if he wants to, if it's on TV, he said it'll help him in Japan because they'll print the pictures, the bloody arm, and I'm stabbing him and blah, blah, blah. It'll be big in Japan. Okay, fine. So we go to do it, and they're out there, and I see him do the spot where he's going to do it, and then I don't see any blood. And I'm like, it's kind of going to be a popcorn fart. And then a minute later, I start seeing some blood. And then I'm like, oh, fuck. But apparently what happened is, and once again, I was told, for all the people going, Cornette, you say you don't like all this hardcore shit. Well, we'd never done anything like that before. We're not really going to do anything like that again. Although Kevin had just stabbed Brian Lee in the head, and he got the big juice, and we put the red X over the screen, which we're going to do here.
Right.
Because we're trying to make it look even worse and use it sparingly. Anyway, what Kevin told me later was the guy, I thought he was accomplished and experienced in this, and they just said a little beep, beep, and, Lawler's done it a time or two on his arm. Jimmy Valiant's done it. I've seen it done. This fucking guy takes a surgical blade, not a, regular little fucking prepared instrument of destruction like we normally use. And when he cut, Kevin said he cut the part of his arm where he cut it like a half-inch deep and long, but it was all just fat. No blood came out, right? I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm just getting grossed out. So then he does it again, and then the shit starts bleeding afterwards. And what the fuck? Well, now, after the end of this fucking match, we get everybody back to, I'm like, Christ on a fucking cracker. What the fuck is with this? Why would he do this to himself? And Kevin's fucking flipping out, and they have to take him to the hospital. Now, I'm trying to I think we were in Sevierville, which is basically the same thing as Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, right? And if you You want to go to fucking Dollywood or feed the live bears or put on the Velcro suit, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee is the place to go. It's right at the base of the Smoky Mountains. But it's not a major metropolitan fucking emergency room at the hospital. Here comes this goddamn guy that speaks almost exclusively Japanese in a goddamn in wrestling outfit, soaked in fucking blood, with his arm laid open from asshole to appetite, conducted in by a fucking Puerto Rican that looks like he got kicked off the set of the fucking Sopranos. And you gave a gimmick name because they didn't want to have to pay for it. And I said, well, I'm not fucking paying for it. I didn't ask him to fucking amputate his fucking arm. Right? This wasn't even my idea to begin with. I'm a victim of circumstance here. So they gave a presumed name at the Pigeon Forge Hospital and got sewed up. And he went on his merry way. I've never seen the motherfucker again. I fucking laughed about it with Miguel Perez a couple times in the WWF and fucking DeMott, but you know, no, it was just, but apparently it got the fucking spike over with you, so it did what it was supposed to do. But
I've watched that. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've watched that match. I mean, and I've never seen Kanemura cut himself. I mean, so now I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. It's just, I guess the spike is so big, you're looking at it and it looks like it's a spike doing it. Hey, let me tell you what I even thought, Jim. I was going, like, when I heard that, I was like, so did he find a way to gimmick the spike and the scalpel is in the spike and Kevin's like, I'm serious. I'm trying to come up with a way in my mind to make it fit what I saw. And I got to go back and watch it again I've seen that a million times at this point.
Yeah, and just bear in mind that the cut is there before there's a big cut there before anything bleeds, because Kevin said it was like yeah, looking at the Grand Canyon, Jimmy.
I heard him talking about it. He's just like, man, I cut the arm and it was just like a big open gullet. I can't do it either. It was pretty amazing. Oh, the Kanemura story. And Jim, I know you've told this story, at least part of that story, a bunch of times, but it's still amazing to me when you go back and watch it. And then Arn cuts a promo talking about it after too. We got a guy who's getting 200 stitches right now.
Yeah. Oh, that was Arn's first night in too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And he's seeing all this shit going on. He's like, "What the fuck?" Because he knew that was not going to be taking place in the ring with the folks that he was working with the bodies of me and Eaton and the rock and roll. But imagine if it was shocking to you. Imagine once again what it was to the fucking employees of the Pigeon Forge fucking General Hospital. Not to mention the goddamn, we were at the fucking Sevierville High School there. I think the fire department was probably the ones that carted them away to the hospital.
There's a lady in the front row, and she's turned to the side like, Jesus, help me. Like,
it burns.
There's kids standing there, too. It's pretty unreal. Oh, boy. Yeah, that was a moment. Hey, look, I've kept this away from...
family entertainment.